If it's Friday, it's yet another chance for us to share our thoughts. Hello guys, and welcome to yet another amazing episode of the Thoughts Podcast, where as always, we talk about anything and everything. I am your host, Joe Ngotho. So hello guys, I hope you've had yourself an amazing, 2 weeks. It's been 2 weeks since we last spoke to one another, or you listened to me, and basically I think I should go straight to explain why I'm no longer doing back-to-back episodes every Friday, and this is because I started a new series on YouTube titled Overthinking It, and the first episode went up last week, that is on Friday, and basically this is a new segment where I think I'm opening myself up to something new and really stepping out of this whole space where it's all, I don't want to say it's all serious, but I thought that I should have a platform, first of all, I think, where I'm free to be a little bit, I don't want to say silly, but I can't find a better word. I want to be a bit more free, a bit more open, to try more crazier stuff, and I think I want to reach a different and broader audience with this new one. Then I think the challenge that I think I foresaw was that not everybody has the patience or maybe the bundles to sit down and watch a whole 30 minutes of a podcast episode on YouTube. So I wanted to add some more interactive content on YouTube, and so Overthinking It came into my mind. And basically this is a segment where I'll be talking about ordinary things, but trying to overthink the situation just a little bit or maybe too much. And basically I think I am not really closing myself on the possibilities of what this segment could be. This is a platform where I think I am free to be anything. I'm free to talk about anything. I'm free to be stupid. I'm free to talk any language that I want. I'm free just to do all the crazy stuff and be the other crazy person that I am behind the scenes. So if you've not already checked out that first amazing episode on YouTube, please do so. Check out the Thoughts Podcast YouTube channel, and if you're listening to this on maybe on their website or in the podcasting platform that you might be listening in from. And again, if you've not subscribed to both the channel and the Thoughts Podcast, please do so. And if you're watching this on YouTube, press the subscribe button at the bottom, and then the notification bell, so that you may get notifications for wherever I release episodes like I have done today. So on today's episode, I'm going to be talking about our demons, and demons for me are those things that we struggle with, those things that may not necessarily be so good about ourselves. There may be the challenges that we have, those maybe in terms of personalities or the bad habits that we have. I think demons may be very broad, maybe the bad habits, the mistakes that you keep on doing, the not so good side about yourself. And I'm going to be talking about embracing that if you have to, changing that if you know how to or you can, or basically just learning to live with that and learning to cope with the not so good side about yourself, learning to keep your demons at bay. Basically, we're going to be talking about those stuff, the stuff that we are not so comfortable about ourselves, or the stuff that, I don't know, maybe your spouse or your girlfriend or your friends keep telling you to change or work on, the things that they are not so comfortable with. Maybe it might be something that you're comfortable with, and if you're not, then I think we're going to be also be talking about how you get comfortable with your demons, if that is something that you might be looking towards doing. So welcome to the Thoughts Podcast. This is season 4, episode 4. Karibu. So, bless me, Father, for I have sinned. I went to confession lastly. About what? By the way, it's been such a long time since I went for confession, and that is my confession for today. And First of all, if it's not already obvious from the intro or the way I've begun today's story, that I am a Catholic. I was born a Catholic and I still am a Catholic. I hope to die a Catholic because I don't know, because I've not found anything better than that. But that is besides my story and my point. And there was Live Alone Now, where I'll be honest and tell you that it's been a while since I went for confession. And there was once a time where I would go for confession on a much more regular basis. And back then, when I used to go for the confession on a regular basis, I think at some point when I sat down and analyzed my trips to the confession box, there's one thing that I discovered, and what I discovered was that I had some favorite sins, those sins that you find yourself, like every single time that I would go for these confessions, I would find myself repeating the same sins over and over and over again. And I know the question that you may have in mind right now is what were these sins that I kept repeating from day to day? And I will spare that for another day when we are much closer and I can trust you with my darkest secrets. But basically, I can tell you what those sins were. I can tell you what those sins were not, and they were not murder. They were not what else? They were not what? Blasphemy. They were not what else? So many other things. Basically, I don't know. Maybe it's what you think. Maybe it's not. But after an analysis of my trips to the confession box from time to time, back then when I would do this on a daily, not on a daily basis really, but on a regular basis, I analyzed and discovered that each time I would go to the Father and I would start as I have started right now, and I would talk about having gone for confession maybe for a week, a month or so. I think a month was the max at that point. And then once I think that the next process goes that since then I accuse myself of having sinned. I have done this and this and this. And I would find myself repeating the same things that I had done the other time. And to be honest, it reached a point where I felt like I was kind of playing around with God. I felt like I was kind of not serious. Because I think at the end of every session that I would go, the Father would tell me the obvious, that of course there will be the penance that you're given. Basically penance is what you're supposed to do as what, I don't want to say punishment, but on a layman's language or terms, it's kind of a small punishment that you say, that most of the times will be in form of prayer. So we'll be told, like, say our Father like 10 times, say Hail Mary 3 times or something else. It's a combination of prayers that you're supposed to say afterwards. But basically, I feel like I'm here recruiting Catholics, and but with all that said, I think it's less of a punishment, but just something that maybe somehow, if I was to look at it in a different way, gets you closer to God. So you're told for your penance, this is the amount of prayers you say, this is how many times you'll say this prayer, and then even before you go ahead to do the penance, the Father will obviously tell you that go in peace, your sins are forgiven. And after several trips to the confession box and having repeated the same sins over and over and over again, I think I sat down and thought to myself, and I'll be honest, at some point I was like, I think what I should do, and until now I think that wasn't the best idea, and that would be the best idea maybe for you if you're going through the same thing. I kinda stepped backwards and thought, I think I have to stop playing around with God. I have to stop doing the same things over and over again. I have to do my best that the next time I go for confession, I'm not saying that I wanted it to be a little bit different. That is saying that I needed to diversify the amount of sins or the type of sins that I was doing, I was not saying that my sins were now becoming boring, but what I thought was, I can't keep going back to that box over and over again, saying the same things, repeating the same things, asking for forgiveness for the same thing day in, day out. And I was a little bit hard on myself when I think about it right now. And what this ended up doing is the next times that I would think of going for confession, I would sit down and analyze and think to myself, why am I walking back there? What am I going to confess? What sins am I going to ask forgiveness for? And I would tell myself, these are the same things you went there last time. You're such a joker. And then what this did, it kind of discouraged me from going for confession and look at where I am right now, and having really taken some time away from them. I think that constant judgment on myself, and I think it was it was okay for me to want better of myself. It was okay for me to want to be different. It was okay for me to challenge myself. But I think the one thing that I might have done wrong was condemn myself so much that it reached a point where that I felt like I was not worthy. I felt like me constantly going to confess whatever it is that I was going to confess was somehow becoming a joke. And what now, coming to think of it right now, what I compare that with is like the amount of times you shower. And I don't know how many times you shower. Sometimes there are people who shower 2 times, 3 times a day. But the whole concept of showering, for me, can be compared to the act of confession. Because right now, think about it this way. How many times do you shower, let's say, even in a week? Not in a week. Yes, in a week. Maybe you shower on a daily basis, or maybe you shower twice daily. But the whole point is, if you shower today morning, you leave, you go out, by the time you're coming back in the evening, you'll be dirty. And it's not because you are so careless, not because that you exposed yourself to unnecessary dirt, but the fact that you walk out of the house, you go out there, and on a daily basis you're interacting with different environments. You're interacting with different people, you're interacting with different things. It is bound for you to get dirty. And for me, I think it reached a point where I started to think of sin as that, started to think of the wrong things as that sometimes we are living in this whole world of sin, this whole world of imperfect people and imperfect conditions, and it is so unright, if that is the right word to use. It is so unright for you to kind of place so much pressure on yourself to be perfect. It's insane for you to shower today and expect that you'll be clean for the rest of the week. It doesn't make a lot of sense. The fact is, even if you shower today in the morning and stay in the house the whole day, in the evening you still feel a bit uneasy, depending on how often you're used to cleaning yourself up, And that's the same concept I think I apply to a lot of the things that we struggle with a lot of the struggles that we have, with a lot of the not so good things about ourselves. And I think, to be honest, we are much more hard on ourselves than other people are on us. And sometimes before other people condemn us for these not so good things about ourselves, the so-called demons, I think we ourselves condemn ourselves before we are condemned by other people. And for me, I think that is the worst mistake we can make. And don't get me wrong, I don't mean that we should be comfortable with the not so good things about ourselves. I think not really comfortable. We should just accept, these bad things about us and be like, if I have a habit of stealing, then let me just call myself a thief and live happily ever after, knowing that that's my character. That is who I am. Let me be a thief, If you're the person who cannot, spend an hour without abusing somebody, without maybe hitting somebody, why get comfortable with that? Why accept that as a part of you and just say like, I'll be hitting people for the rest of my life, or I'll be abusing people for the rest of my life. I'm not advocating for people to be bad, I'm not advocating for that demon in you to overcome the angel that is in you, what I'm saying is, I think for me, I have realized to, I have learned to accept the not so good things about myself, to be aware, I think that's the right word for me. Be aware of your demons, be aware of the not so good things about yourself, be aware of your struggles, in terms of character, in terms of the habits, and then most of the times when I talk about demons, I'll be talking about the not so good things about yourself. And I'm not telling you to be comfortable. I'm just telling you be aware. And above everything else, I think you need to cut yourself some slack. You need to be patient with yourself. You need to understand that even if these things are not so good, even if these things are not things that you're proud of, these are things that maybe are a part of you. One, maybe because you have tried to completely get rid of these things and you honestly cannot, or these are things that keep on recurring, and it's something that sometimes you cannot explain, sometimes you cannot control, and it's something that maybe comes in between you and your friends, come in between you and your spouse or your girlfriend or the people around you. These are things that interfere with you being 100% of the person that you're supposed to be. So I think the first step for me would be aware of your demons, understand that this is a part of who you are. You might not like it, other people might not be comfortable with it, and I'm not telling you to be comfortable, I'm just telling you be aware with that, and then analyze and ask yourself, is it something that I can deal with? Is it something that I can maybe adjust? Is it something that I can change completely? Is it something that I have to be aware of and live with? And then for me, I think and it's something that I've always advocated for on the podcast, on previous episodes that I've done. It's all about being positive. Sometimes when you find yourself struggling with something, when you find yourself you find that you cannot shake something off, something that you'd really, really want to shake off, but for one reason or the other, you cannot shake it off, then I think you need to have the patience to tell yourself that you will start today. And you might not get there maybe tomorrow. You might not get there the day after. You might not get there the week or the month after. But you want to believe that eventually, one way or the other, you will get there. One way or the other, you might not improve 100%, but each percentage of improvement, even if it's that 1%, 2% that you improve, it is a sign and it is hope that one day you'll get rid of this problem or habit or demon that you are struggling with. So for me, I think it's important, one, to be aware of your demons, be aware of the things that hold you back, be aware of the things that make you not so good, be aware of the things that maybe hold your potential to be generally a good person. And the other thing I think will be analyze and get to understand if this is something you have to live with for the rest of your life. Because sometimes I think some of these things stick and stay by us. Then also understand if this is something you can work on bit by bit, or this is something that you can really deal with once and for all. And if it's something that you really feel or think you're going to struggle with for a few days or months or years to come, then I think you need to be comfortable, with yourself, be patient with yourself, understand that this is something that you may not like, but have that positivity and the hope that one way or the other, you'll either be able to manage it or you'll be able to get rid of it altogether. So mine is to really, really advocate for people to get to understand their demons, get to understand what works for you and what doesn't work for you. Behavior might be working against you when it comes to maybe your interaction with other people, and also in understanding who you really are. There's maybe those bad sides or that bad habit or the other side of you that really, really kind of blinds the good side about you. And sometimes people don't have the patience to look beyond that bad side and see the good person that you are. And sometimes maybe people will always bombard you with accusations and tell you that accusations, and tell you that you're not a good person, tell you you're a lazy person. Maybe laziness is your demon, Maybe you're a person who is dishonest, you're a liar. You are an abusive person. Maybe that is your demon, and that's what people don't see beyond, And I think it's up to you, first of all, before people see beyond that. Do you yourself see beyond your demons, Do you believe that you're salvageable? Because until you do that, then I think there's no way any other person will ever see you different. So first of all, be able to see beyond your demons, be able to see beyond that bad thing about yourself, bad habit, that thing that you're struggling with, and see yourself at some point where you will be able to deal with these things completely, or see yourself as a good person, see yourself as somebody or something that is actually salvageable, and believe that and work towards that. And I believe you will be able to turn around these demons, or maybe keep them at bay, if for anything, be able to handle that, be able to accept that as part of who you are, and be able to deal with them much, much better. So understand your demons, be comfortable with who you are, see beyond those demons, be very much patient and positive about your position or who you are. And I think the rest is all about just getting comfortable with yourself and working on the things that you need to work on. So guys, that is it for today's episode, and I'm really keeping it short for today. And I think first of all, I have been recording today's episode for like 3 hours. First of all, because I was trying, currently, as you may be aware or not, I am doing both audio and video, and I have really struggled on the audio today. And if you're watching this on YouTube, you cannot see me at this point because my camera decided to die on me or something. It's been having issues ever since it got spoiled some weeks back. And basically what happens, it's recording at an interval of I think 3-4 minutes, and then after that it cuts. And currently I'm the videographer, and I'm the person who is being videographed, and I cannot even really tell when it cuts off. So I will talk to myself for like 10-15 minutes only to realize that the video cut like so many minutes before that. It only recorded the first 3 or the first 4 minutes, and that has been my challenge with today's episode. And hopefully I will be able to get through this. I'll be able to maybe find a fix. But even with all those challenges aside, I hope you've been able to learn a thing or two. And I hope above everything else, today's episode makes you think a little bit more about yourself, about your demons. And above everything else, I hope that today's conversation inspires you to have a conversation with someone else about maybe demons, about their demons, about your demons. Generally, I hope that today's episode inspires you to talk to somebody and have a conversation. It may not be directly related to today's topic. It might be about something else, maybe about something maybe that you have thought out of today's discussion, or something that has come up as you are listening to today's episode. I hope you be able to reach out to somebody and maybe have a conversation, because as always, I've always said and insisted time and again that there is always something magical about having a conversation with somebody. There is always something amazing that comes out of a one-on-one conversation with someone, just sitting down and having a chat. It might not be about something specifically, but just talking to somebody one-on-one, talking about whatever it is, for me, has always done something and has always been one of those moments that I treasure, one of those memories that I treasure whenever I have time to meet with somebody and maybe sit and talk one-on-one, and a lot can be shared and solved and what really dealt with whenever we sit one-on-one and have a conversation. So look forward to having conversations with people. Talk to somebody, talk to a stranger, talk to a friend, talk to a family member. Be a nuisance if you have to, but just talk to somebody. Conversations and good meaningful conversations will always brighten up your day, will always add something to your life, and you'll always learn something new when you sit down and have a conversation with somebody. So guys, thank you for tuning in for today's episode. Thank you for watching. For those who have watched, even if you've been staring at a black screen, or maybe I've tried to make it a little bit more interactive. But with all that said, I hope that the words of today, for the times you could not see me, have meant something for you. And I hope that you will keep coming back as you have for these episodes that I keep on releasing. So if this is your first time listening or watching the Thoughts podcast, thank you for joining the movement, and I hope you going to keep around. Don't go too far. Look forward to the episodes that are yet to come, but much more importantly, feel free to go through the episodes that I have already done, and most of these are available on audio. The podcast is available on the website, that is thoughts.co.ke/podcast. That is thoughts.co.ke/podcast. The podcast is also available on almost every podcasting platform that you may think of, that is either Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, Stitcher, Amazon Audio Books or something. I don't know. Just maybe hop onto Google and just write Jongo the podcast, Thoughts podcast. Anything related to that will always lead you right into my direction. Also, right, if you fancy reading, visit the website thoughts.co.ke and have a look at some of those some of those articles that I have written there. Still dreaming about episodes. And talking about episodes, if you've not already subscribed to the Thoughts Podcast YouTube channel, please do so. And while you're at it, go through the videos that I have already released, leave a like, a comment, and remember to always share this content. I will be much more than grateful for your support. And without forgetting, thank you so much for listening in, and I hope to see you on the next episode, whether it's on the Overthink It or on the normal Thoughts podcast episodes. I hope to see you then. So until the next episode and the next Friday, do have yourself an amazing time.